Hello and welcome to the Main Cave. Now in today's video I want to show off the new way that I make B-roll, and if you're a content creator or someone who just likes cool stuff, then this really could be for you. So if you're new here, we make regular videos on technology for gaming and for your smart home, so please do consider subscribing as we may make a video to make your life easier and I won't want you to miss out. So do hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. So to make these cool shots, you can see I use a probe lens which actually attaches to the iPhone using a specific case, and this bundle comes from a company called Sandmarc. The lens with the iPhone case comes in at around $350, and when you see what you can do with it, I hope you'll agree that it's worth every penny. So when it arrives, you obviously get the lens itself, but also a nice velvety sleeve, a carry case, a microfiber cloth, USB-C cable, lens cover for either side and a carabiner. So when you want to transport the lens, you put it in the pouch and then in the case and everything else in the netted pouch inside. The two lens caps are nice and decent quality and fit into the net when the lens is not in use. I'd recommend using these all of the time when you're not using the probe, as dust can settle on the lens. Even so, the microfiber cloth comes in handy here just to clean it each time you get it out. As I said earlier, I also got the iPhone case with mine. This is required to make it work. They get sold as a pack, so just choose your model, but here I'm using my iPhone 14 Pro. The phone case itself, the protection is okay and it feels decent enough, and I've had no problems using this on my phone all day, but it isn't good as something like a specific protective case, but that's not what it's designed for. The case also fits into the lens bag, but it's up to you whether or not you trust it in there because it does stick out just a bit. One thing to note though is if you do want to use this case as your daily driver, it doesn't support MagSafe, but it will Qi charge if needed. So to fit the lens to the case, simply screw the lens into the camera module. It really is as easy as that. On my iPhone 14 Pro case, there are actually two places to put the lens, one on the main lens and one on the telephoto lens. You can add it to the telephoto if you want that specific type of shot, but for the close-up work that I use, I mainly put it on the main lens, which is of the lower of the two. And next up, you're going to need to change an iPhone setting. You go into Settings, Camera, and then make sure Macro Enabled is ticked. Then when you're filming, click on the flower icon that pops up whenever you get near to the subject. This disables the automatic macro ability, ensuring that when you get close, the camera doesn't automatically switch to the macro lens, which is next to the main lens that you're using with the probe. So the lens itself is 35 centimeters long, weighs in at just over 260 grams, and in terms of actually taking the shots, it has a focal length of 16 millimeters. It has a light at the front, which you activate using the buttons on the side. One click to be full brightness, another click for it to be half brightness, then another click to turn it off. Now this is where the USB charging cable comes in. To charge it, you plug the USB cable into the USB port on the side, and then you see a red LED and wait for it to go white, for which it's fully charged. On the barrel of the lens is the focus ring. Just turn this to manually adjust focus to make sure that your subject is in focus. With this, it means that you can get a lot of your shots in focus from the front right to the back. The lens can be very close to the subject, but the back is still in focus. With your typical macro lens, the depth of field, which is how much is in focus, is usually very small. However, for creative shots you can achieve this, you just need to get the right controls, which I'll talk about later in the video. So you fitted the lens onto your phone, you've changed the settings, and now you're ready to film. But being a macro lens, there's probably one more thing you need, and that's a stabilizer. You can't really use this handheld. With this lens, you can get really close to your subject, which means that even the smallest amounts of movement will look like you're waving the lens around. That's not ideal. So this is the best I could get holding it, and as you can see, it doesn't quite have the right effect. I'll leave links down below for my slider, but you can get automatic ones which are more stable. I just like the flexibility of my manual one. Now Sandmarc themselves sell their own version of a slider on the website, and it does look fantastic, as you appear to have plenty of flexibility when it comes to composing your image, portrait, landscape, and again, forwards, backwards, left and right. Again, I'll leave links down below for their one, but I haven't used it yet myself. It will be my next purchase. And while shooting, you can either use the stock camera app or do what I do and download the Blackmagic camera app. This gives you much more control over your shots. One way the stock camera app struggles is with the ISO, as it tries to automatically make all shots well exposed throughout the shot, and it does this in general by upping the ISO, meaning you get those grainy images. With the Blackmagic app, you can actually change the ISO manually and keep it low and make changes to other controls to keep the image how you want it, whether it's in-app or external, keeping your videos nice and sharp and having much more flexibility. As I said, I have an iPhone 14 Pro, and filming in 4K, here are some example shots. As you'll see, it's sharp, clear, and the lens very much complements the iPhone's camera. There's so much potential with this lens, and I've only really just started to learn how to use it. I'm 100% using this in every video I make going forward with B-roll and social media content for my channels. I can shoot landscape, portrait, going forwards, going backwards, going left and right. I can't think of anything I'd change on at the moment. I've been using it for a couple of weeks and it's been fantastic, as you can see from the B-roll throughout this video. I'll leave links down below where you can get hold of this cracking lens, the Sandmarc Probe Lens. Please do like, please do subscribe. Until the next video. Bye-bye.